Well, I had the opportunity to teach an apparel design class for the first time. Someone else had been teaching it for a while. It had been going great. But I thought, you know, this is a good opportunity for me, since I have to design this course now, for me to do it, to really get some help and some different ways of thinking about it through the QEP. And the EDGE program and the kinds of things that we were asked to do in it, to consider about helping our students explore and to think differently and to do some research and to create a product from that, was ideal for this kind of course that I was going to do. So I did it to help me in terms of teaching the course, but I also did it to help my students come out with more than they would have gotten had I gone out the course like just a regular design course for students to achieve some objectives, get some technique, and to produce a product. Well, creative inquiry to me is very much like the research process that can be applied to anything. I'm working with a textiles class now, a Textiles 2 research course, where students do an applied textile research project, and they go through the research process. They just happen to apply it to textiles. So it's the very same kind of thing that the creative inquiry is asking us to do. So I simply built that into this course and had students who normally would have learned technique to create 3 garments of original design. I had them really take a broader look at this by exploring before they even got to their design, looking at what had happened in the past, looking about relevance to current events, looking at the fabrics, and then putting their sketches together to do more creativity based on some things rather than just pulling it together without looking at the past, so to speak, or looking at what had already been done. So we did that. We did some work working through the process and decision making, and then students not only produced their 3 complete garments, but they also created a portfolio outlining the process that they had gone through. So I think they came out with a lot more by participating in this QEP than would have otherwise taken place. Well, this one in particular, we just did a whole lot more work around, well, I should say we used to just learn the techniques, apply them, and we were done, and students could go out and do that. But this time we just took a much broader approach to it. We did background, we did some analysis, we did some critical thinking, we pulled some things together that we hadn't done in the past. We did apply the techniques, learn the techniques and apply them, but even when students were finished with their products, they were able to create a portfolio that they could share what they had learned in the class in ways that were different than we had done in the past. I think it's a much more functional and creative outcome for the students. I think it's absolutely wonderful. In fact, I asked when I started, can someone who's not in full-time teaching participate in this? Because I was so excited about it and what was happening with it. I think that one of the best things about it was really starting at the beginning for me and really putting together a better class, a better outcome for my students. It helped me think more critically about the objectives of the class, the learning outcomes for the class, how to connect those for the students, and how to help them have a larger experience in this class that pulled in more skills and abilities than they would have had if I just used some of my old teaching strategies. Courses like mine that have a really creative product come from it. I know there are other faculty who were doing courses that weren't research-based, weren't necessarily technology-based, but had some creative scholarly outcomes come from those. I think it can be applied to any classes that we have. I really think it's an asset to the faculty member. I know it's an asset to our students in terms of what they get in the classes. It's sort of like a new and much better and improved way to do things. And I would do it again. In fact, I'm already thinking about what I can propose next. And even if I don't propose something next, how I can take what I've learned from this QEP and put it in the next class that I design. It was great fun. This is my second one. There were a couple of years in between, but it's really sort of a new renewal process for a faculty member to get to do this. And not to mention, there are funds that help you get supplies and software and things that you need in order to teach your courses better and to give your students a much stronger experience. So I think it's great.